staving off potential excuses. Your projects are all crisis. You have no time to plan. Response, unfortunately, this logic is completely reversed. In a crisis, uh, you can't afford, magkabaliktad, not to plan. Why? Because you have a critical situation that has to be addressed with limited resources. You can afford to make missed time uh, and takes. Nag-miss ka sa time, no? And acting under pressure and emotion, and two characteristics of crisis. Practically guarantees that mistakes will occur. So, yun, dapat ito yung mga babantayan daw, no? You cannot afford that to plan. And limited resources is another one. And yung schedule not to miss time and takes. Okay?
The project management mindset staving off potential excuses. Structured project management is only for large projects. Response: no matter what size the project is, the information you need to perform it is the same. What are you to produce? What work has to be done? When will it be done? Have you met expectations? For large projects, it could take many weeks or months to develop satisfactory answers to these questions. For a small project, a few days or less, it could take only about 15 minutes. But the questions still have to be answered. The project management mindset staving off potential excuses. Your projects require creativity and new development. They can't be predicted with any certainty. Response: some projects are more predictable than others. However, people awaiting the outcomes still have expectations for what they will get and when. Therefore, it's especially important for someone managing projects with this sort of uncertainty to develop and share the plans and to assess and share the impact of unexpected occurrences and changes. The project management mindset eliminating false expectations. Project management activities take no extra time to perform. Response: speaking with people who are interested in and support your project, preparing a project plan, creating and sustaining a project team, and tracking and reporting on project progress all take time. But time is more than saved in the long run when potential problems are avoided and the results meet expectations. The project management mindset eliminating false expectations. Project management is just all about graphs and charts. Response: graphs and charts support the analysis and display of project management data. However, information alone doesn't ensure project success. Project management is a software package. Response: project management software supports the recording, analysis, and storage of project data. But information alone doesn't ensure project success.
Ensure project success. So, ang sinasabi rito, definitely, yung mga bar charts, etc., they do not ensure. Pero the moment na tinutukan mo yung accomplishment report every day, every end of the day, inaalam mo kung saan, nakakagawa ka ng paraan para humabol. Di ba? You always have that chance na gumawa ng paraan para maibalik mo sa schedule. At kung minsan, kung very resourceful ka, meron kang maisip na pwedeng hindi nakita nung planning stage. May ganun ko minsan eh. Okay? The good news, perhaps you're thinking, but is advanced planning really worth it? Trust me, it is. When you practice the principles of good project management, the following happens. Number 1, you can do more. Number 2, you can do it in less time. Number 3, you can do it with fewer resources. Example ko yung isa kong lecture sa making practical electrical calculations. Sinabi ko kasi doon na kunyari yung linya individual lines nakita mo mapapabilis mo yung project kung pagsama-samahin mo na sila sa isang malaking tubo o malaking raceway, di ba? Pero kailangan mong pa-aprobahan sa owner o ka dun sa designer or consultants. So, gagawa ka ng sketch yan, drawing, schematic, at justification. Bakit mo gagawin yon? At ano naman yung mga potential problems. Ngayon, kung in-explain mo yon at na-satisfy si owner, si consultant, abay, mas mabilis yung gawa mo kaysa individual lines, di ba? Secondly, pwede kang makatipid, di ba? So, pag nakatipid, abay, magandang puntos yun. Kasi yung tipid sa project, sa mga owners, matutuwa sila dyan. Hearing the good news again sounds too good to be true. It can happen because you do the following: produce the correct outcomes and address the real needs. Number 2, don't waste time using unnecessary activities or making up for something you forgot to do. Okay. Then number 3, do activities in the right order at the right time so people don't waste time waiting for results. They need to proceed with their work. So, communication na naman yun, ano? Okay. Ensure people work only on needed activities and do them correctly the first time. Anticipate possible problems and either work to avoid them or are prepared to deal with them quickly and effectively if they occur. Okay. Then, defining what you're trying to accomplish and why. Defining your statement of work. Number 1, or letter A, purpose. How and why your project came to be. The scope of your project. The general approach to be followed. Then, the objective. Specific outcomes you will produce. So, ito yung sabi natin kanina, do not make vague objectives. You have to put specific objectives. So, katulad yun, putting up a solar rooftop, anong capacity, grid tie ba siya, off-grid ba siya, etc. Nakakonect doon sa ano mo, tapos ang savings mo, ganun. Ayan. So, kailangan very specific yung ano mo, objectives mo. Then, letter C, constraints. Ano ba yung mga limitasyon? Restrictions that will limit what you're to achieve. How and when you do it and for what cost. So, yun. Potential problem analysis ito eh. Doon sa PADAPA, doon sa Kepner-Trego kasi, yun yung tinatawag na potential problem analysis. Ina-analyze mo yung mga posibleng negative na mangyari at mapaghandaan mo na. Kung sakaling mangyari to, meron ka dapat alternate na solusyon. Okay? Letter D, assumptions, statements about uncertain information you're taking as a fact as you conceive, plan, and perform your project. Bumati nga tayo sa ano. Baka may mga concerns. Okay, andyan si Jeff. Good evening, Sir Rowell London. Andyan si Ken. Si Ray Ancoro. Si Joel ng Kuwait. Aldo. Middle East din si Aldo eh, no? Si Rolly, andyan si Rolly Domrigue, good evening. At si Man, andyan ulit. Thank you. Iba, hindi na nakabalik. Tensya na. Anyway, pwede naman nilang panoorin sa, ano na, pag-uploaded na. Tensya na. Talagang, nakakuha na naman ako ng lesson dito sa live streaming na hindi pala effective pag PowerPoint gamitin. Kailangan talaga si PDF para mabilis na lumitaw. Anyway, tensya na. Okay, so, dito tayo, no? Yan. Defining your statement of work, purpose. How and why your project came to be. The scope of your project, the general approach to the project. Number 1, background. Why people authorize your project. Okay, scope. What work will be performed. Strategy. How you will approach the major work of this project. So, ito, nakakuha na dun sa planning stage kanina. Then, defining your statement of work. Purpose, background. Why people authorize your project. Identifying the initiator, drivers, and supporters to know his needs and expectations. Kung solar rooftop yan, siyempre, ang sinabi ko kanina, gusto mong makatipid, lalo na ngayon, pagkatapos ng pandemic, naningil si utility ng sobrang taas, di ba? Nadoble yung mga bill. O di la. Ito yung time na kailangan mong gawin, di ba? Okay. Identifying others who may benefit from your project. O, siyempre, yung buong pamilya makikinabang at saka yung buong bansa na sinasabi ko. Considering the project champion. Kailangan daw itong project champion sa gobyerno kung minsan meron ka dapat magcha-champion doon sa project na yun. Kunyari lang. Sabihin natin yung merong gagawing project na mass transit, kunyari. So, meron kang dapat figure sa gobyerno na talagang siya mismo yung doon. At authority siya sa linya na yun. Sa traffic and transport, ganyan, no? So, usually, sometimes it is the president, no, in such kind of an organization, but mostly, sa small projects, in the organization, meron talagang, doon, na ito, baby niya, no, advocacy niya, yung ganyang trabaho, di ba? Yung ganyang objective, di ba? Okay. So, yan yung project champion. Considering the people who will implement the results of your project. So, ito yung kasama mo sa team, no? Yung sinasabi ko nila, if you are the project manager, yung architect, civil structural, the MEPF, di ba? Then, defining your statement of work. Background, defining needs to be addressed, confirming that your project will successfully address the identified needs. Syempre, pag rooftop solar, araw-araw na gagawin ng Diyos, sigurado libre na yung energy mo. Kaya talagang tipid ka. Yung isang kliyente, nagpakabit nung sometime February yata ng solar, 5 kilowatts. Ang bill niya dati, umaabot ng mga 25,000 a month yung bill niya, no? Ngayon, ang sinasabi namin noon, bababa yung bill niya ng mga 10 to 15,000 pag maglagay siya 5 kilowatts. Nangyari yung pandemic. Naikabit na, tas nangyari yung pandemic, ano? So, siyempre, nung Marso, walang billing si Meralco, so, worried din siya, no? Sabi ko, ano naman nag-harvest na yung solar panels mo. Dumating ang February, hanggang sa mamaya dumating na yung bill. Nakita niya tumaas yung bill. Tumaas yung bill. Pero lumalabas, 2 metro kasi yun yung kapatid niya at saka siya. Hanggang nakita niya na yung palang tumaas ang bill, yung kapatid niya, kasi walang solar yung kapatid niya. Yung kanya, yun yung bumaba. So from 25,000 naging 24. Sabi niya, tinawagan ako, bakit ang liit ang ibinaba ng bill ko? Dapat bababa ng mga 10 to 15,000, sabi niya. Sabi ko, pag i-consider mo yung mga nangyari kay Meralco sa mga customer na nadoble, that means nakatipid ka na ako. Anyway, so, yun. Sigurado yun. Ito, nagkontong may S ito. Okay, purpose. What purposes Scope. Where your project starts and stops, check for hidden inferences. Use words that clearly describe intended activities. Confirm your understanding of your project's scope with your project's drivers and supporters. Defining your statement of work, purpose, strategy, how you will approach the major work of this project. Consider organizations' usual approaches for handling similar projects. Where possible, choose a strategy with at least risks, uncertainties, and uncontrollables. You don't want a strategy that may work. You want one with the greatest chance of it to work. For riskier projects, consider developing one or more backup strategies. In case your primary strategy runs into problems, a different strategy may be the answer for meeting an apparently achievable performance expectation. Okay, so ito sa malalaking projects to. Pero sa mga maliliit na projects, like yung sinasabi kong solar rooftop, ang ano mo lang doon, kunyari, nag-canvas ka, dito ka bibili, biglang wala nang stock doon. Are you going to wait for the next delivery? Or you're going to the next option? Yung number 2 ang price, no? Hindi yung pinakamura. So yun, you have to make the right decision. If the difference is too big, siguro, antayin mo na lang, di ba? Madi-delay lang yung project mo. Pero kung maliit lang difference, baka pwede lang ituloy mo na yun. Okay? Defining your statement of work, objectives, what exactly are you trying to achieve statement. A brief narrative description of what you want to achieve. Then, measures. One or more indicators you will use to assess your achievement are the measures. No? Then, performance targets. The value of which measure that defines success. Performance targets. No? Kunyari, yung pag sinabi mo, solar rooftop. Bakit? Makakukuha mo na yun sa monitoring pagka nakita mo na yung initial na mga recording ng energy harvested. Okay, so now we go to mga matrix. So, an illustration of project objective, you have your statement, create a revised report that summarizes monthly sales activity. Medyo hindi pang technical to eh. Measures, content, performance targets. Report must include the following data for each product line. Total number of items sold, total sales, revenue, total returns. Statement, measures, schedule, budget, approvals. Performance targets report must be operational by August 31. Development, expenditures are not to exceed 20,000. New report format must be approved by the Vice President, sales, regional sales manager, and so on and so forth. So, okay. So, this is a project objective. So, making your objectives clear and specific, less is more. Don't use technical jargon or acronym. Make your objectives smart as follows. No? Specific. Define your objective clearly in detail with no room for misinterpretations. And it must be measurable. Specify the objectives or indicators you will use to determine whether you met your objective. Must be aggressive. Set objectives that are challenging and that encourage people to stretch beyond their comfort zones. Then, realistic. Set objectives that the project team believes it can achieve. Yun. And time sensitive. Include the date by which you will achieve the objective. Okay. Make your objectives controllable. Identify all objectives. Be sure both drivers and supporters agree on your project objectives. While specific objectives help you determine when you have succeeded, they also make it easier to determine when you haven't. No? Defining your statement of work, constraints, restrictions that will limit what you're to achieve, how and when you can do it, and for what cost. Think in terms of the following: limitations, restrictions that others place on the results you have to achieve, the time frames you have to meet, the resources you can use, the way you can approach your tasks. Number 2, needs, requirements you determine must be met in order to achieve project success. Okay? Constraints, limitations, types, results, the products being part of your project, time frames, by when certain results must be produced. Then resources, the type, amount, and when they will not be available. Resources are everything necessary for you to perform your project work, including people, funds, equipment, raw materials, facilities, information, and so on. Activity performance, the strategies and approaches for performing different tasks. Okay, be careful of a vague limitation, schedule limitation. Vague, finish this project as soon as possible. So, nga naman, yung as soon as possible, kailan yun? Is it this afternoon? Is it by Friday? Is it, di ba? Specific finish date because business June 30. Ayan, mas tama nga naman. So, end of business hour on June 30 or August 30. Ganon. Resource limitation, vague. You can have an additional cost engineer part-time in May. Masyadong general, ano? Samantala kung specific, you can have an additional cost engineer 4 hours per day for the 3 weeks of May. O nga naman. Mas klaro, di ba? Determining your project's limitation. Consult your audiences, That means the members of the team, project team, review relevant written materials. When you identify limitation, be sure to note its source. You can identify any project risks that exist because of a particular limitation. If the risks are significant, you'll want to develop plans to minimize and manage the risk throughout your project. Constraints. Defining the statement of work, constraints, limitations, and needs. Determining those necessary to support project performance. No, personnel. I need 2 project engineers, 4 foremen, and 16 lead men. Yeah, it's very specific. Budget. I need a project budget of 1.2 million for manpower, equipment rentals, consumables, miscellaneous expenses. Other resources. I need a service truck, 2 hydraulic crimpers, 2 Megger testers, 5 bolt-on meters, 2 phase sequence testers, 2 commissioning engineers, and for the last 2 weeks of May. Oh, mabigat, ano? Assumptions. Statements about uncertain information you're taking, such as you conceive, plan, and perform your project. For every issue, you identify which may affect your project's performance. Decide what assumptions you will make regarding the issue that you'll then build into your planning process. Plan actions you can take to make your assumptions become a reality. Consider all project assumptions when you develop your project risk management plan. Okay. So now we go to networks, developing a statement of work. So ito yung start, and then choose your audience to consult. Speak with your audiences. Then of course you have to also to review the written materials. Then prepare draft of the statement of work. Then you go to have audience review the draft. Yung project management team. Do audiences approve the draft? Is it approved or merong revision? Then adjustment mo. Approve ulit. Pag na-approvean na, yes, go to the next step in your planning process. Okay, what if one or more reviewers won't approve your draft statement of work? Even the several revisions, are you willing to proceed without their support when you believe that you've done all you can to respond to their suggestions and concerns? If yes, make a written record of your attempts to get their approval and the reasons why they didn't give it. Record their lack of approval in your risk management plan. Move on to the next step in your planning process. If no, find someone at a higher level in the organization who can help you resolve the issue. This is the perfect time to ask for help from your project champion. So, ibig sabihin nga daw kung meron hindi nag-approve dun sa team, no? Sa team, i-document mo yon na yung hindi pagkaunawaan at ito yung ayaw niya. So, para detalyado, in which way also you send copy of this report to management, so higher level. So the higher level will butt in, papasok sila. Sabi nila, bakit hindi approve yan? Dapat tuloy yan. Yan. Okay? So yan, para ma-aprobahan. No? How to determine if an activity is sufficiently detailed? Can you accurately estimate the resources you will need to perform the activity? Resources include personnel, equipment, raw materials, money, facilities, information, etc. Can you accurately estimate how long the activity will take to perform? If you had to assign the activity to someone else, are you confident that he or she would understand exactly what to do? If your answer to any one of these questions is no, break down the work into finer detail. Using hierarchical breakout to develop project work breakdown structure. So, work assignments here, level 1 breakouts. And then, you divide it into 2 tasks, no? Level 2 breakouts. And then, from each, bawat isa, no? Subtask level 3 breakout. Parang ina-assign mo siya, okay? Hanggang sa full detail siya. Okay, planning a long-term project. Plan in detail, that is down to activities that take 2 weeks or less to complete. For the first 3 months, plan the remainder of the project in less detail, perhaps detailing the planned work in packages that you estimate will take between 1 and 2 months. At the end of the first 3 months, revise your initial plan to detail your activities for the next 3 months in components that will take 2 weeks or less to complete. Modify any future activities as necessary based on the results of your first 3 months' work. Continue revising your plan in this way throughout the project. So ito raw sa mga long-term project. Okay, detailing and activity, product, components, floor plan, etc. Functions, design, launch, review, test. Geographical areas, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. Organizational units, marketing, operations, production, maintenance, facilities. Continue revising your plan in this way throughout the project. Okay? Then, what you need to know about your lowest level activities. Work detail. Work processes and procedures that will be performed. Inputs. Work products from other activities that will be used in the work for this activity. Outputs. Products or results produced upon completion of this activity. Then, roles and responsibilities, how team members will work with each other and each of the project's activities. Duration, time on the calendar that you estimate this activity will take.